colors and the flamboyant flair of the fabrics and other accessories attract many spectators to view their spectacle. Today we have with us Miss Corrinne Poujard Flanders. She is a creative, a super creative if I might say, and also the CEO and co-founder of DFX, a creative design company that uses new and recycled materials for jewelry, handbags, clothing, creative outfits, and carnival costumes, accessories as well. DFX has upcycled old jewelry for new use by clients and made handbags and purses from old jeans, bras, and have upcycled fabrics from clothing to make unique swimsuits. Discarded carnival costumes are collected, stripped for feathers, stones, trimmings, frames, etc., and have been made into new pieces. Today, Ms. Poujard is going to tell us primarily about carnival costumes. Welcome to Good Morning SKN.
Welcome. Good morning, and thank you.
Well, I think that was a mouthful as well. I had to take a little inhale, exhale, but the thing is that you do so much. So can you tell us, where did you learn the skill of making costumes?
Well, for as long as I can remember, I think I was probably 5. I've always been making stuff, but when I started designing for a carnival band that's no longer around, Inferno, in 2005, you know, that piqued my curiosity a little more, especially that the builder came up from Trinidad. So my days and nights when, you know, were spent pretty much in the mass camp. And then in 2014, my then husband said, you know, we're going to do this. And I was like, no. And he says, oh, yes. Enlisted the assistance of the same builder. And, you know, we started from there. And the following year, he said, look, you know, it's too expensive to bring back the builder. And there's nothing this man has done that you can't do. So get cracking. I was like, oh, gosh. But, you know, it worked out. And it's something that I love because Carnival is really dear to my heart. I was actually born the year that Carnival was nationalized. So we're the same age, so it holds something very special for me, you know. So that's pretty much where it started.
If I can say, it doesn't show at all that you're the same. You're of the same age. So that's a really fascinating story that you've just told us. What was that like initially when you had to say do away with the builder and then take that on your own?
Being chief cook and bottle washer is stressful when you have to design, deal with marketing and promotion and getting sponsorship for a troupe.
And also building the
costumes.
And
then building the costumes. It was mind-boggling. I pretty much would spend every waking moment. You know, my body clock is still not on a regular time. I still wake up at 3 in the mornings because that was the process. You would get back up at 3 in the morning, go to bed at 11, you wake back up at 3, lots of coffee, music playing in the house, because I had to turn one of my workspace, a bedroom in our house, into my workshop. And afterwards, we started also making our own body wear. And also, you know, I wanted to make sure that it was mainly a Kittian product. So all of our body wears were actually, we enlisted several seamstresses on the island to make our body wears. There was one year we did a costume that I enlisted the help of another creative, Vaughn Anslin, to paint the fabric because I couldn't find the fabric I wanted. So a lot of painstaking work goes into it, you know. When I look at all the other bands in the region, they all shop at the same places. So I was making my own trimming designs. I wouldn't buy what everybody else was buying. Yes, some of them were prettier, but for me, it was a personal touch. So that's what we did. You know, it was, our tagline is designing for the extraordinary. So we went the extra mile with our trimmings, sourcing the gems as far as China and Indonesia. I have a cousin that lives in Thailand, so when she found any unique stuff, she would send the pieces for me. And through other creatives, I found the different fabric sites that the other bands in the region were using as well. So I would just choose the more, you know, flamboyant ones that I liked.
Right.
And the mass experience, it has been hectic. But at the end of the day, on parade day, I just want to go to bed. There have been times where they've had to drag me out to the house because nobody leaves. They wouldn't leave me at home because they know I wouldn't come down the road. And, you know, I stand on the side and look at it. And there have been days that it's been overwhelming. And especially our first year, I burst into tears.
Aw.
And everybody was like, why are you doing that? You always do this. I had everybody crying, but it was just so overwhelming to see it on the road. I'm like, wow, we did that.
Yeah.
You know?
And as you can see right here between us, there is an explosion of color because we are talking all about these wonderful costumes. And so I'm going to ask Mrs. Flanders to tell us what she's brought for us to see today.
Well, I brought a couple of pieces that I myself have worn. They were easier to get my hands on at this point. When I was speaking about the fabrics, the uniqueness of this fabric is if we had a black light in here, this fabric actually glows in the dark.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so we had it, I had a different version for Carnival with just the pinks and the oranges for my revelers. So we actually had a black light on the truck. So when we were getting late into the evening, 6 o'clock
so
hit,
cool.
and we had little flashlights running around with so that, everybody could see the glow in it. So that was awesome with it. And some of these pieces, most of them are very elaborate. So now that mask has so much definition to it, this would be considered like a midline costume because it just has the feathered collar and the headpiece. If it were a front line, this would be really, really huge. This one, this purple is my favorite color.
Yes.
And this piece would probably be considered maybe like a day two wear or a backline. So.
And I see all those gems are like hand placed.
Yes, they're all hand placed. the glue gun burns I got for that one was epic. But
Well, that's definitely a labor of love.
Yes, eventually I got one of those stone placers, but sometimes it's just easier to put them on.
I'm sure there's over 100 stones on that one, so I can't imagine how much work and how much time goes into it. So we talked a little bit about recycling and upcycling. How did you get into that? Is that something that you always was doing?
Well, when I was younger, I grew up with my grandmother, and growing up with grandparents, you have the things you need and not the things you want.
Right.
So, and she was a seamstress.
Oh.
So one day I wanted a new purse, and she said, I don't have money to buy it. So I was sad and started crying, and I said, can I get some thread? And I took one of my jeans that was too small. I cut the leg, made a purse, made the strap for it, and I went to the school's Mayfair. And everybody was like, wow, you made that purse? I was like, yep. And it started there. And then sometimes when we have shows, some of the shows, the local shows have really small budgets.
True.
And some of the girls want really nice things. And I mean, you're going in for a show, you don't want to have something crappy. And I would go the extra mile and dismantle because, the feathers, some of these feathers in here are actually recycled from previous costumes. Before it was pulling and tugging them off. Now I've invested in a heat gun, so it comes off a lot easier. So to give people, something special that they want for their show, because you go into a show and you don't have something nice, you're not going to perform.
Right.
So that's mainly where it came from. And then some of my friends, when they have old jewelry and they want it to wear again, especially now that we're more into celebrating Black History Month, African Pride, your makeup artist, Sharena, she brought fabric once and I covered a necklace for her with it, and it looked amazing.
Right. So I mean, you're even mentioning some of the other things that you make outside of costumes. Can you tell us a bit more? I see you're wearing a headband, and I'm pretty sure you made that headband.
Yes. A girlfriend of mine earlier this year in March sent me up some pictures. I need some for Christmas. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's March. And she kept reminding me every month. So during the summertime, I ordered it and I started making them, and I've been selling them actually. So I make headbands, I make brooches. I don't have one with me, but I do like fete cups. I think you've seen them.
Yes, I've seen them.
And
I've had my own made.
Yes, and then, that's another staple as a part of Carnival. When people look at Carnival, they only see the costumes, but all the other business aspect that goes on behind it.
Right.
I've had persons bring their sunglasses, say, pop out the lens and decorate the frame because I want my makeup to show, but they want that extra oomph just to look different, even though they're in the same costume.
Right.
Quick question. Are those antlers? Because I haven't been able to
Yes,
look away.
they're reindeer antlers. They didn't come the way I wanted, so I couldn't stick them up, so I kind of just placed them there that way.
Seasonal.
It's beautiful. I love it. So I mean, it's Christmas. You're making Christmas headbands, brooches. Unfortunately, we're not playing mass this year, but hopefully we could play mass next year. Where can we find you? Where can we contact you if we wanted a brooch, a headband, anything special for the season?
I'm at home in Greenlands. My address is number 2 Park Lane West. It's the house with the colored fence. You can't miss it. It's white with pink, colored fence and a blue door. My contact number is 664-3500. And I'm on WhatsApp, I am on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram.
All right, perfect. So we know where to find you again.
Yes.
We've been speaking with this creative, and she's another one of these all-around creatives who could like do anything and everything. Corrinne Poujard, it was such a pleasure talking to you and seeing your creative pieces. It made me feel the carnival spirit and miss being on the road.
I do too.